What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Minecraft video. We're back in the village. It's gonna be day 4 in a second here, but we got some more expanding to do in our wonderful village. Of course, all these monsters are spawning again. We really gotta pump out the defenses, apparently. I don't know what's going on, but apparently everyone likes to be in danger here. I don't know. Um, I think we can do a couple of basic things. Maybe make some animal pens, which will somewhat work in a way of defense, because zombies have to go around them. That's my thought process, at least. Put it like there. Oh, what's up, guys? Like, why is there so many of you? I feel like there's not usually... Oh, what? It's like lagging how many there are. I don't know if that's entirely. Just adding a few animal pens here and there. I want to get what sheep. I think this isn't a bad area right here. Throw in a little sheep pen. Nice. We got a few pens here and there for some animals. I almost forgot as well. I'm going to be lighting everything up. We want to make sure it's all lit up pretty well. We'll make this a chicken farm, I guess. Oh, I haven't done that road yet. I'll get there in a second. But yeah, I mean, I think I can do that now. Actually, I feel like I'm pretty content with the farms or the animal pens. Right? Nice. Oh, wait, no, not quite yet, but perfect. There is now usable pathways. This is an interesting. We don't need to connect it down there. That's not important. But I feel like this actually has some potential for maybe like some sort of viewing area. I think would be cool. Maybe we go like spruce. Maybe some of this. Maybe some of that. Maybe a logs as well. Something like that as a color palette, I think will work quite nicely. I did forget about grabbing some sort of fence. And also I think an important thing would be making sure it's also lit up. Because that seems to be a reoccurring problem, is that things aren't lit up and monsters spawn in places that aren't lit up. I think if we do that, that'll work pretty well. We can put the corner there. I think this will be the other corner. Something like that. I think something like that looks pretty nice. And then with this, I'm gonna add just a little bit down here to make this more structurally supported. It also makes kind of a wall right here, which isn't as important, but I feel like that little extra protection, make sure the villagers aren't falling down there. I think that looks pretty nice. I think, ooh, maybe some trapdoors, because I feel like this needs some texture. I wasn't sure. how to do it. Maybe something like this. I think something like that just adds just a little bit of texture that was needed. That one's under the ground, so that's fine. Okay. And then I also think something along the lines of maybe birch. I feel like birch will contrast well. Yo. Some sort of place to sit there. Something like that. And I think one more thing. I don't know how I want to do that. I feel like that stone, it doesn't have enough texture into it. I'm not sure how I want to add any. It's going to be a problem. We might leave it alone. I do feel like these pillars, they don't have enough. But maybe that's only when you're close up, though. I think from a distance, it's not going to be as much of a difference. So I think it'll work fine. It'll work out pretty fine. Okay, this is very villager proof. Villagers aren't going to accidentally just jump over into the water, which is what we want. Oh wow, we're getting a bunch of fishermen. Nice. So I'm glad they're enjoying their new jobs. Speaking of which, is there any other job places we could add? Let's look at the job list. Leather worker, grindstone. There's definitely some options. Composters. That's actually going to be a very good option, and something also very easy to add. Let's see. I think we can give up a little bit of crops to have some more people working on them. I think something like expanding this will also be quite useful. Did not mean to do that. All the grass is a little bit annoying, kind of in a way, but it's not too hard to remove. I'm also, real quick, I'm going to turn my volume down just a little bit. I feel like it's blasting in my ears a little bit more than I would like. Just gonna change that on my end. I don't know if that changes on your end. I'm not 100% sure. I could definitely look, I just never get around to remembering to. beautiful. We got a bit of a big farm, and I feel like this can be a very complete wheat field. I think this will be plenty of wheat for the villagers, because I don't want to lock up the entire area and make there not be an escape route. And speaking of which, I think even doing so, I don't know why I keep grabbing golden tools, by the way. Don't ask me why. It just happens to work that way. Gonna expand the road to maybe about there, at least for now. Just to make sure I don't accidentally entirely surround the village. Make sure they have room to expand. I really messed up a few things here and there. Okay, it is all good now. Have a wonderful, lovely little path right there. Speaking of which, I did notice that that area is quite dark, and while it is nighttime, actually, just overall, I think it's a good idea to see what places are getting dark, and maybe adding some lights to them. I don't really like them, so maybe like here. And we can just do something ever simple like that. Just where I think it is getting dark and mobs might be spawning in. And of course, I'm not really looking at like, because I know there's numbers and everything. I'm not actually looking at the numbers. I'm kind of just eyeballing it, seeing where I think is a bit darker. And I'm not doing it, say, for areas where there isn't anything really there, just for areas by paths and things. So I'm going to save those areas for when we do put some things into the village. Let's see, is there any darker areas? I feel like that area right here could use a light. Maybe right in this corner here. Same with right here. Could use some light. Maybe even put some by the farm. I feel like this could use maybe a little bit. It's going to be hard to do anything with a tree. But of course, it's this area next to the tree, which will work just fine. And again, I'm kind of just eyeballing, seeing darker patches and putting in some light to those places. Perfect, and that should help with the amount of zombies spawning here. Maybe they won't spawn as many when we have our place decently well lit up. Obviously, it's not perfect, but I think as well as we expand and build some more things, that's going to get even better. Now I think this is a good time to notice we haven't really built any buildings other than the church, and we do have like the tower-esque things, but I haven't built like any sort of like house. I think we should do that real quick. Let's just build a very simple house. It doesn't have to be super complicated. It's going to be in a villager-esque style of house. It's not going to look out of place. Well, it might not be an actual village house that you will find. It should fit well into the village. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna grab stairs. I'm gonna make it above ground. Cool. And then now place. This doesn't look too bad right here. If we just add a little house here, maybe. It's gonna be probably one of the bigger houses in the village currently, but it's not gonna be a ridiculous size compared to the rest of the village houses. And I think that get a good balance in. It's not going to be feeling out of place, but it's also going to be a bit of a bigger house. Yeah, I think something like that. Maybe put some beds in there, a crafting table. Obviously, want to make sure the place is lit up as well, even on the outside a little bit, because that will make it ever so more ever more safer. I think for the roof we just do a simple cobblestone, and then maybe add a little bit of detail to it, but I'm not quite sure. Oh, phantoms. I don't know if those attack villagers. I don't think they do. What would something maybe like give it a little bit of an overhang? Yeah, I feel like that would fit together pretty well. I think just to add a little bit more detail, which you don't really see in villager houses that I can think of, which is adding a little bit of extra detail, give it a little more depth into it. Like most of the things, it's not the best house I've ever built by any means, but it's a little house that is nice. And I think that's going to be what I try to do with this world. I'm not trying to build the most impressive buildings. I'm not trying to make the greatest things. I'm trying to make the best lives possible for the villagers. And I feel like we're doing that pretty well here. Let's see. I feel like we have time for another build. I'm just not sure what I want that to be yet. I do want to, I want everything to be as I go. I'm not planning anything in between filming sessions. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just, as I'm in the world, how does it look? What do I think would be a nice addition to the town? Trying to see. I think that's a good idea. Where's the bell? Here. I do want... I heard a villager in pain. What's going on? I don't know what that was. I'm a little nervous for that, actually. I have no idea what hurt the villager. But, coming off of that, I think a cool idea would be to kind of build like a little blacksmithing area. Maybe they do a lot of stonework, different things like that. So all of these sort of grindstone, anvil, smithing table, blast furnace, stone cutter, those sort of things. Maybe even add regular furnace. I don't think it needs that much more detail. Add some of those maybe. Maybe some spruce. I feel like spruce kind of fits in. Now where do I want this? This could be, ooh, what if I did something small here? Maybe we just that. And an idea I had. I'm gonna do it later. I'm gonna set up like the whole thing and then maybe add some extra stuff like that. So this is gonna be kind of outside, but that feels a little cramped. Maybe we'll extend this a little bit further out. I don't want it to be too cramped. I feel like that should be probably there, where it's gives off the idea of, I guess, yeah, it won't be that high, of being a little bit safer. And then maybe put an anvil there. But an idea I had, going back to this, is maybe making a little bit of a chimney using the campfire. Oh, okay. I lost my orientation. Perfect. So if we come around here, we can do something simple like this. Maybe kind of put in that back there. Oh, I think I want it to be this lift stairs. What's that? feel like that works. I think just to add, make it look a little bit more natural. Maybe remove the grindstone then. I'll put it back, don't worry. Maybe we put it off to the side right here. Try go under, yeah. I wasn't 100% sure if that would remove it or not. It did. Yeah, put it right there. It's a little bit cramped, but it gives us the kind of outside kind of blacksmith idea. Maybe they live in a little bit of a cooler area, so they don't want to be indoors stuck with a fireplace. And this is kind of giving a little bit of warmth. Whereas I should say it's probably not a chilly place, but it's not necessarily like 70 degrees or whatever. And look, we already, no, this is a leather worker, which I don't think we have a place for. That could be an option. I'm not sure how I want to make that place. I'm gonna save it for later. Thinking about this could be an interesting idea. Is if we make, because we do have, find it, target blocks, we can make some sort of archery range, which I think would be quite cool. Actually, I'm gonna grab. Where is hay bales? I think this will be an idea, and I probably want this to be somewhere where if you shoot it and it misses, it isn't a problem. So maybe somewhere like over here. Which it marks out where you should stand. But also is going to be behind the target as kind of a, in case you miss. Arrow doesn't go who knows where far away. Maybe around about here. And then, ooh, whoa, what am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, I think it's because I'm touching the touchpad. How does that look? I feel like that's good. I feel like that's a good distance. And then I feel like this is kind of where the Fletchers would work, is right here. We'll put 2 of them. And that's kind of where they do their job, making bows and arrows for the villagers. And then I do have one thing that I wanted to do real quick, and probably spruce, is there's a little trick you can do with the target block. that I think is quite cool. And that is because it activates redstone. You can do something like set a bell behind it. Then I don't know which way it is. Okay, it's this way. And you hit it. It's awful. Am I not hitting it? There's no way I'm not hitting it. I'm definitely hitting it. But when you hit it, it sounds the bell. I think another thing to do real quick here though is just to put a little bit of lighting here. Light the place up because I've noticed there's so many mobs around here. Why is archery easier on console? I feel like it's never this hard. I'm defending my village. Oh wow. That explains where the mobs are coming from. I think we picked a good village to upgrade because it seems like this is a village that is constantly in danger and is in need of some defenses. Stand still. There's just so many monsters everywhere. It's crazy. Why are the villagers just roaming about? This is so dangerous. Go to bed. You all have houses. Oh, that's from... Okay. This actually would not work in real life. This is a weird thing about bows, is that you can just draw them forever. If you've never shot a bow or know nothing about bows, you might not know, but basically you can't just hold this. You can't just hold a drawn bow. Because a lot of, especially like war bows, are over 100-pound draw weights. Some even to maybe 200. And so you're not just pulling the string back. No, this is like a 200-pound or maybe 150 or something. But it's a lot of strength to actually do this, and to hold it in position, you're very likely to just not have the strength and kind of, like if you work out, go to failure, something like that, where you'll hit failure and just fire the arrow. But in video games, obviously, I could just hold this really forever. I mean, I don't think there's a limit. Another interesting thing is, usually, especially in fantasy, you see a lot of times bows being a very dexterous weapon and swords being a very strength-based weapon. But in real life, it's actually quite the opposite, where swords are very dexterous weapons and bows are more strength weapons. I wouldn't say entirely, obviously. There's some aspects of strength in swords. There's some aspects of dexterity in bows, but I would say it leans more the other way. Just some random interesting facts about someone who does stuff like that. For me, more so with swords, but I do enjoy those. I think I could probably get more into it, but to buy all that stuff is just it gets expensive quickly. Swords in itself are expensive enough. To add bows into that mix is a lot, especially with when you add things like gear, because it's not just a sword. No, you also need gear and stuff. I do have, which I use, uh, just ones that don't need gear. They're like it's a material where if you get hit with it without any armor, you'll be fine. Any armor or fencing gear, whatever. And you can see that on my channel. I'll be fencing Alexander lots of times, lots of good fun. He's learning, he's a bit behind, but yeah. But that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Can I not? I'm trying to end it. There we go.